November 12, 1966, the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, the Champagne Lounge, 10:23 p.m. Dean Martin was in the middle of his show, singing Volare. The crowd was loving it. 800 people, packed into the lounge, dancing, singing along, having the time of their lives. The band was tight, locked in, everyone hitting their marks. Dean's drummer, Eddie Torres, was particularly on fire tonight. His rhythm was perfect. His fills were creative. His energy was infectious. Eddie had been Dean's drummer for 3 years, 29 years old, born in East LA, first-generation Mexican-American, incredibly talented. Dean trusted him completely, relied on him, considered him part of the family. At a table near the front sat a man. Expensive suit, gold watch, diamond ring, William Caldwell, 58 years old, real estate developer. One of the richest men in Vegas, owner of 3 casinos, partial owner of the Flamingo. William Caldwell was used to getting what he wanted, used to people jumping when he snapped his fingers, used to being treated like royalty, because in Vegas, he was royalty. Caldwell was drunk, very drunk. He'd been drinking since 7 p.m. Scotch, expensive scotch, glass after glass. He was loud, obnoxious, making a scene, but nobody stopped him because he was William Caldwell, and William Caldwell could do whatever he wanted. During a drum solo, Caldwell stood up, stumbled toward the stage. His associates tried to stop him, tried to sit him back down, but Caldwell pushed them away. He reached the stage, looked up at Eddie Torres, the drummer, concentrating, lost in the music, eyes closed, feeling every beat. "Hey!" Caldwell shouted, his voice slurred. "Hey, you!" Eddie didn't hear him, kept playing, the music too loud, his focus too intense. "Hey!" Caldwell shouted louder. "I'm talking to you!" Eddie still didn't hear, didn't respond. Caldwell's face reddened, angry, insulted, being ignored. He climbed onto the stage, walked toward the drum kit. Security started moving, but too slow, too far away. Caldwell reached Eddie, grabbed his shoulder. Eddie's eyes opened, startled, confused. He stopped playing. The band noticed, started to fade out, slowing, stopping. Dean turned around, saw Caldwell on stage, standing over Eddie. "What's going on?" Dean asked. Walking toward them, Caldwell pointed at Eddie. This drummer," Caldwell said. His words slurred. "He ignored me. I was talking to him, and he ignored me." Eddie looked confused. "Sir, I was playing. I didn't hear you. Don't give me excuses," Caldwell snapped. "When William Caldwell talks to you, you listen." Dean reached them. "Mr. Caldwell, with all due respect, he was in the middle of a drum solo. He couldn't hear you." "I don't care," Caldwell said. "He works for me. This is my casino. He should be paying attention." "Eddie doesn't work for you," Dean said calmly. "He works for me." "Same thing," Caldwell said. "This is my building. Everyone here works for me." Dean's expression hardened. "That's not how this works." Caldwell turned to Eddie, poked him in the chest. "You need to learn respect," Caldwell said. "You need to learn that when important people talk to you, you stop what you're doing and you listen." Eddie stood up, his face calm but his eyes showing anger. "Sir, I apologize if I offended you, but I was doing my job. I was playing." "Your job?" Caldwell laughed, a bitter, drunk laugh. "Your job is to do what I tell you. And I'm telling you to show some respect." Eddie took a breath, trying to stay calm. "I respect you, sir, but when I'm on stage, I focus on the music. That's what Mr. Martin pays me to do." "Don't talk back to me," Caldwell said, his voice rising. "Do you know who I am?" Dean stepped between them. "Mr. Caldwell, this is getting out of hand. Let's—" Caldwell pushed Dean aside. Not hard, but dismissive, disrespectful. "Stay out of this, Dino. This is between me and your drummer." "It's not between anyone," Dean said, his voice harder now. "Eddie did nothing wrong. He was playing. You interrupted him." I can interrupt whoever I want, Caldwell said. This is my casino, and this, he gestured to Eddie, this disrespectful little Caldwell didn't finish his sentence. Instead, he slapped Eddie hard across the face. The sound echoed through the suddenly silent lounge. Eddie's head snapped to the side, his cheek instantly red. The audience gasped. Security started rushing toward the stage. Dean grabbed Caldwell, pulled him back, away from Eddie. "What the hell is wrong with you?" Dean said, his voice dangerous. Caldwell pulled free. "He disrespected me," Caldwell said. "He ignored me. He needed to learn." Dean's face was rigid, his fists clenched. "You don't touch my band. You don't touch my people. Ever." Caldwell laughed. "Or what?" "You'll do what, Dino?" Dean turned to the audience. "Show's over." "What?" someone called out. "But we paid for. Show's over," Dean repeated. "Louder. Everyone out." The audience stirred, confused, upset. "But," someone else protested. "Everyone out," Dean said again, his voice leaving no room for argument. "I'm not performing another second in a venue where my drummer gets assaulted." Security started ushering people out, slowly, reluctantly, confused guests filing toward the exits. Caldwell was still on stage, still drunk, still angry. "You can't kick people out," Caldwell said. "This is my casino." "Watch me," Dean said. Dean turned to his band. "Pack up. We're done." "Done for the night?" the pianist asked. "Done with the Flamingo," Dean said. "We're never performing here again." "Mr. Martin," the stage manager appeared. "Please, you have a contract. 2 more weeks." "Sue me," Dean said. "I'm not performing in a place where my people aren't safe." Caldwell stepped toward Dean, face to face. "You're making a mistake," Caldwell said, his breath reeking of alcohol. "A big mistake." "No," Dean said, his voice cold. "You made the mistake. You assaulted one of my people in front of 800 witnesses. That's not a mistake I can overlook." Caldwell pointed at Eddie. "He's just a drummer. He's replaceable." Dean's eyes went ice cold. "Get off my stage." "What?" "Get off my stage," Dean repeated, "before I throw you off." Caldwell laughed. "You wouldn't dare." "Try me," Dean said. Security finally reached them. 4 guards. They positioned themselves around Caldwell. "Mr. Caldwell," one guard said nervously, "we need to escort you back to your table." "I'm not going anywhere," Caldwell said. "This is my casino." The guard looked at Dean. "Uncertain." "Get him out of here," Dean said, "or I call the police and press charges for assault." "You wouldn't," Caldwell said, his face going pale. "Watch me," Dean replied. The guards hesitated, then grabbed Caldwell's arms, gently but firmly, started walking him off stage. Caldwell struggled, protested. "This is outrageous. I own this place. You can't." But they did. Escorted him out of the lounge, away from the stage, away from Dean and Eddie. Dean turned to Eddie, his face softening. "You okay, kid?" Eddie nodded, his cheek still red, still burning. "Yeah, I'm okay." "No, you're not," Dean said. "That was assault. We're pressing charges. Mr. Martin, you don't have to—" "Yes, I do," Dean interrupted. "Nobody touches my people. Nobody." Within an hour, the story spread through Vegas. Dean Martin had walked out of the Flamingo, had ended his show early, had kicked out 800 paying customers because William Caldwell had slapped his drummer. The other casino owners heard. The other performers heard. The press heard. By morning, it was front-page news. Dean Martin walks out after drummer assaulted. William Caldwell woke up the next morning, hungover, barely remembering the night before. His phone was ringing. His partners, his lawyers, his associates, all calling, all panicking. "What did you do?" his business partner asked. "What are you talking about?" Caldwell said. "You assaulted Dean Martin's drummer," the partner said, "last night, on stage, in front of 800 people." Caldwell's stomach dropped. I was drunk." "I don't remember. It doesn't matter," the partner said. "Dean Martin has pulled out of the Flamingo, permanently. He's telling other performers not to work here. He's pressing charges against you." and the press is destroying us. Caldwell tried to salvage it. Called Dean. Dean refused the call. Sent a lawyer instead. Offered money. Dean refused. Sent a public apology. Dean ignored it. Sent representatives to negotiate. Dean's response was simple. William Caldwell assaulted my drummer. Until he faces consequences, I want nothing to do with the Flamingo or any casino he's involved with. Caldwell's partners panicked. The Flamingo was losing money, big acts were refusing to perform, customers were boycotting, the press was relentless. Within 2 weeks, Caldwell's partners gave him an ultimatum: sell your stake in the Flamingo, or we force you out. Caldwell refused, fought, threatened, but his partners had the votes, had the leverage, had the will. On December 1st, 1966, William Caldwell was forced to sell his stake in the Flamingo at a massive loss. His reputation was destroyed. His other casinos suffered. His business relationships crumbled, all because he'd slapped a drummer, Dean Martin's drummer. Dean returned to Vegas 2 weeks later, not to the Flamingo, to the Sands, where he was treated with respect, where his band was protected, where William Caldwell had no power. Eddie Torres stayed with Dean for another 15 years, until Dean retired. And every time Eddie told the story, every time someone asked about the scar on his soul from that night, Eddie would say the same thing. Mr. Martin stood up for me, when nobody else would, when a powerful man assaulted me. When I was just a drummer, just a kid from East LA, Mr. Martin walked out, ended his show, sacrificed money, sacrificed relationships, all for me. And I never forgot. I never forgot that Dean Martin saw me as a person, not as replaceable, not as just a drummer, but as someone worth fighting for, and that changed everything. For me, for Vegas, for how performers were treated. Because after that night, after Dean walked out, after William Caldwell was forced out, the casinos changed. They couldn't afford to lose performers, couldn't afford the bad press, couldn't afford the boycotts, so they started treating band members better, started protecting them, started ensuring they were safe, all because of one night, one slap, one drummer, and one performer who said enough. November 12, 1966, the night William Caldwell slapped Eddie Torres, the night Dean Martin stopped his show, the night he walked out of the Flamingo, the night he ended his relationship with one of the biggest casinos in Vegas, the night he pressed charges against one of the most powerful men in the city, all for his drummer, all because someone he cared about was assaulted, all because doing what's right mattered more than money, more than relationships, more than career. That night changed Vegas, changed how performers were treated, changed how band members were protected, changed everything, because Dean Martin drew a line and said, nobody crosses it. Nobody touches my people, ever. That's loyalty, that's integrity, that's what it means to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. William Caldwell lost millions, lost his casinos, lost his reputation, lost everything. Eddie Torres gained everything, gained respect, gained protection, gained a story he'd tell for the rest of his life about the night Dean Martin chose him, over money, over power, over everything. And Vegas learned that talent matters, that people matter, that band members aren't replaceable, they're human beings, deserving of respect, deserving of protection, deserving of someone willing to walk away when they're not safe. Dean Martin taught Vegas that lesson on November 12, 1966, when he stopped his show and changed everything.